Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf and welcome to the next installment in the Autumn Winter series. In this video, we're going to be talking about the best foundations for autumn and winter. And for me to be classed as one of the best foundations for autumn and winter, these foundations need to be non-drying because your skin needs to be as hydrated as possible in those seasons. It also needs to be long wearing and it definitely needs to be transfer resistant or transfer proof so that you can wear your hats, your scarves, your big thick woolly coats, and this foundation won't transfer onto those. These also need to hold up for changeable conditions, so they need to hold up in the freezing cold weather conditions when you're outside, in the wind and the rain, and they also need to hold up while you're sat next to a beautiful hot roaring fire in a big thick woolly jumper and you're probably just a little bit too warm but you don't want to admit it because you're just so happy at that moment in time. So these need to hold up to all of those, and all of these next 10 foundations do just that. Now, I was hoping to whittle the list down to a maximum of 5 foundations in this video. Hasn't turned out that way because, I mean, there are just so many foundations that are suitable for autumn and winter. I wanted to give you all of the choices that I have tried that are suitable for autumn and winter, and then you can make informed decisions on which one you would like. So if you are new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I am a qualified esthetician and lover of anything beauty, skincare and makeup. I upload videos Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 PM London time, and I'm also on Instagram if you fancy checking me out over there. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button for any reason, I would really appreciate it if by the end of this video, if you like what you see, you hit the like button and the subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. This first foundation is stunning. It's gorgeous, glorious, fantastic. How many more words can we use to describe this foundation? It's just lovely. It's a personal favourite of mine. It's also a personal favourite of my mum's. Funnily enough, this is not classed as a long wearing or a transfer resistant formula. However, on my dry skin, I feel that it does both of those things, which is why I wanted to include it in this list. That may not be the case if you have a combo skin or an oily skin though. For my mum, who absolutely adores this foundation but has a combi skin, she has to powder her T-zone and she also has to put a spritz of setting spray over this to add longevity and to make it transfer resistant all day long. But she loves it. And for my mum to say she loves something it's a big deal. She doesn't love a lot of foundations, but she really, really likes this one. So this is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation. It comes in 40 shades and it's sensitive skin friendly. Like I said before, this does everything for a dry skin, but you may have to add other things on top of this to make it last if you don't have a dry skin, if you have a combi skin or an oily skin. This dries down to a natural matte finish. It gives that lovely luminosity to the skin. It looks like skin. It's very natural. It doesn't look mask-like. It's just beautiful. It's a non-drying formula. It's lightweight. It's very skin-friendly. There are no nasty ingredients in here. It's flattering on all ages. I've found there to be no creasing, no settling in fine lines or wrinkles or pores or dryness. It's just lovely. This is also cruelty-free, it's free of alcohol and free of fragrance and essential oils. So if you are sensitive to any of those ingredients and you have dry skin, give this one a go. It's lovely. Moving on to the next foundation in the light to medium category. This one actually could be in the sheer all the way up to full coverage category. It's an amazing, very, very versatile foundation. It's waterproof, it's sweat-proof, it's long wearing, it's transfer resistant. I mean, the list goes on. It's lovely. This is the DIOR Backstage Face and Body. Comes in 40 different shades. It dries down to a lovely, natural, radiant matte finish. This is definitely not a flat matte. It's very, very skin-like. And like I said before, this is buildable coverage. But personally, I think this looks best from sheer to medium coverage. I just feel like it looks a little bit too heavy and just not how it's supposed to look. at full coverage. This is the one that I would wear to the pool or the gym if I felt the need to wear foundation in those places, because this is so super resilient. However, this one does contain fragrance and it also contains a lot of alcohol. So if you are sensitive to those ingredients, you may want to give this one a miss, but I mean, I love it. Let's move on to a more affordable foundation within the light to medium category. This is relatively new for me, but I really, really like it. The only problem that I found is that it doesn't come in my undertone for my shade, which is so disappointing for me because I would go out and buy this in the correct shade in a heartbeat. This is such a lovely foundation. This is the Revolution Conceal and Glow. Now, I need to make you aware, this only comes in 20 shades, and this will probably only be long-lasting and transfer resistant on a dry skin. I haven't actually seen any reviews from anybody with a combi skin or an oily skin saying that this is a long-lasting formula, and it definitely doesn't claim to be a long-lasting formula or transfer resistant, but I found it to be just as transfer resistant and long wearing as the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation. This dries down to a lovely radiant finish, so those of you with a dry skin that don't want that matte finish to the skin, this may be one for you to try. This is also suitable for anybody with a sensitive skin because it's free of alcohol and it's also free of fragrance and essential oils. This is also cruelty free, as is the IT Cosmetics that I showed you earlier on. So I mean, what's not to like apart from the fact that this only comes in 20 shades and it's not in my undertone, which is slightly disappointing. In fact, it's really, really disappointing because I really like this. Let's move on to another affordable choice. Now, this next one is pretty much universal. I've seen reviews for this foundation from people who have a really oily skin and love this, and also people who have a really dry skin and also love this. It's extremely flattering. It airbrushes the pores. It just makes the skin look extremely flawless. Comes in 26 different shades, and this is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. It's lovely. It dries down to a demi-matte finish, which is extremely flattering, very lightweight on the skin. This is not entirely a non-drying formula. It does contain alcohol in here, and after prolonged period of time wearing this, my skin was slightly dry. However, if I made sure that I prepped my skin properly with a hydrating primer, I didn't have that effect. So you need to prep your skin properly if you do have dry skin, just like if you had really oily skin, you would have to prep your skin with the appropriate primer there as well. It's a lovely, lovely finish though. It's very airbrushing and it looks lovely on my mum. You can have this looking stunning, fresh, very skin-like, and you can build it up to a full coverage if you want to, but it will look a little bit more makeup-y rather than skin-like. This is waterproof, it's sweat-proof, it's smudge-proof, it's hat and scarf-proof, quite obviously, with it being in this list. It does contain alcohol, like I said earlier on, and it also contains a fragrance. So if you are sensitive to those ingredients, you may want to give this one a miss, but again, I really like it. Now, I wanted to feature this next foundation in this list because although it's very similar to some other foundations I'm going to feature in a little while, and it's a fantastic foundation and suitable for autumn and winter, it's also got an extensive shade range, and if you struggle to find your shade in any other foundation, you will probably find your perfect match at Urban Decay. They have cool, warm and neutral and olive undertones as well as cool green and warm green undertones too. Just absolutely fantastic. This one is the Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation Long Wear. It's got up to 24 hours worth of wear. It's just a lovely foundation. Like the previous one though, don't expect this one to be totally non-drying. If you have a super dry skin, sorry, I'm blinding you, let me put that down. If you have a super dry skin, you are going to have to prep your dry areas before you use this continuously on a day-by-day basis. So this dries down to a natural matte finish. It's very, very lightweight on the skin. You won't feel that it's there, but it can feel a little tight by the end of the day. I don't feel that that is a problem on my skin, as long as I've made sure that my skin is hydrated before I've applied this foundation. It's really pore minimizing, it's very skin smoothing, it just completely airbrushes and makes the skin look flawless, as well as obviously being long wearing and transfer resistant. It's waterproof, it's sweat proof, it's also vegan, cruelty free, and it's free of fragrance and essential oils, but again, it does contain alcohol. So let's move on to foundations with a medium coverage. This next foundation has featured in, I think, every best foundation video I've ever done. It's featuring in the autumn winter best foundation. It's also featured in the best summer foundation. It's featured in the best wedding foundation. It's just featured in so many different videos on my channel. One of my personal favorites, one of my mum's personal favorites. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. This comes in 28 different shades. It's got a soft matte finish, which is extremely flattering. You can get light coverage with this if you want to sheer it out with a damp blending sponge, but I feel like if you are going to be applying this with a brush, it will go on medium coverage, and then you can build this up to full coverage if that's what you require. So this is really long wearing. This is non-drying. I don't find this dries my skin out at all. It doesn't feel tight at the end of the day. It's sweat proof, it's water resistant, it's really, really easy to apply, really easy to blend out. It's dry skin friendly, it's alcohol free and fragrance free, so if you do have a sensitive skin, this may be one for you to try. If you have an oily skin, you can still get away with this one, but I would probably point you more in the direction of the original Double Wear, unless you have really mature skin, in which case this does tend to be a little bit more flattering on a more mature skin. So, I mean, I love this, my mum loves this, it's great, it's long wearing, it's transfer resistant, it's just everything. This next foundation had to appear in this roundup because I reviewed this quite a long time ago and gave it a glowing review. Having said that, as my skin has altered, as it's become more dry, as it's become more mature, I much prefer the sister foundation of this foundation, but the sister foundation isn't transfer resistant, so wouldn't be suitable for those hats, those scarves, big thick woolly coats, so I couldn't feature it in this review. So this is very, very close second. It is super flattering on all skin types. It's just lovely, but again, you have to prep your skin properly if you have a dry skin and you're wanting to wear this. This is the DIOR Forever Matte, and it comes in 39 shades. It gives a velvety matte finish, which is extremely flattering. It's not flat matte at all. In fact, it gets more radiant the longer you wear it if you have a dry skin. I find that this looks much more flattering after a couple of hours than it does when I've actually first applied it. This is really skin smoothing, it's pore blurring, very long wearing. It's non-drying, but like I said, you must prep the skin properly before you apply this, especially if you do have a dry skin. Suitable for all skin types, so oily skins can also get away with this. It just looks glorious. It's absolutely beautiful. But again, this is DIOR. It contains alcohol, it contains fragrance and essential oils. So if you are sensitive to those ingredients, one to miss. So this next one is fantastic for autumn and winter. I have this one on today. If you're wanting medium coverage, if you're wanting something that isn't matte, something with a little bit more of a sheen on the surface of the skin, very, very skin-like, this is one that you may want to try. This is from Shiseido, and it's the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. It comes in 30 different shades. It definitely has a more natural finish, I feel, because of that slight radiant sheen on the surface. Definitely not uber matte. It's an oil-free formula, so if you do have oily skin, you will be able to get away with wearing this. And I have seen some reviews from people with an oily skin, and they are very, very complimentary about this foundation. I find this is best applied with a sponge just to get that lighter coverage. This can go very, very heavy if you apply too much. So definitely be very, very sparing with this foundation when you're applying it. It's really long wearing, suitable for sensitive skins as well, flattering on most skins though, and definitely all ages. This is another one that my mum really, really likes, although she hasn't used this one for quite a while and probably won't be using this one now she's got the IT Cosmetics, because she much prefers a lighter coverage now rather than this, which will give you a medium coverage and can give you full coverage because this is also buildable. This doesn't contain any alcohol, any fragrance, any essential oils. It's also heat and humidity resistant, so great for going in and out of different temperatures. You get that coverage, you also get hydration, but not too much hydration that you're going to look oily by the end of the day, and it's transfer resistant but non-drying. I really like it. Let's move on to full coverage foundations that are suitable for autumn and winter. This next one I've only just reviewed last week on my channel. It's a great foundation. This is best applied with a brush though. I had no end of problems applying this with a sponge, and you have to be really, really sparing with the product, otherwise you're going to end up in a mess. But I wanted this to feature in this roundup because it's a great foundation if you can get to grips with the application. So this is the Too Faced Born This Way matte, and it is beautiful. It's a lot of coverage. So this isn't one that I would reach for on a daily basis because I'm not one for that full coverage look. But if you are, this is a great foundation. So long lasting, definitely transfer resistant. This comes in 35 shades and gives, like it says, a matte finish. Now I did feel that this needed powdering by the end of the day, so this didn't stay matte throughout the day, but it didn't stay matte because this is a non-drying formula. This is actually really quite hydrating, which is great for autumn and winter. Because this didn't stay matte on my skin all day, this wasn't as flattering around those pores and any texture that I had. It did go some way to blur out the pores and airbrush the texture, but not as much as some other matte foundations would do. Now this is an oil-free formula, so this may be really good for anybody with an oily complexion as well. It's waterproof, it's really hydrating, it's suitable for sensitive skins as well because this is alcohol-free and also fragrance and essential oil-free. And it's also cruelty-free as well. Now, like I said, this is a little bit too much coverage for me, so I won't be reaching for this on a daily basis, but it's still a great foundation. So the last foundation in this roundup is phenomenal. I would say this is suitable for most skin types, but if you have a dry skin and you're still wanting super coverage, but you're wanting that coverage to be lightweight, hydrating, long wearing, transfer resistant, good in all weathers, you need to try this foundation to see whether you like it, because I mean, I loved it. This is the ZOEVA Authentic Skin Foundation. It comes in 44 different shades. It's a very skin-friendly formula. There are no nasty ingredients in here. Again, really long wearing, really lightweight, wears very, very well, and a little goes a very long way. Most people that say they've absolutely hated this have used way too much and said that it looks very mask-like on the skin. This can look very natural whilst getting very full coverage, as long as you apply very, very little. You don't need to apply the same amount that you would in a regular foundation. This is so pigmented. Again, a little goes a very, very long way, so be over cautious with this. You can always add a little bit more on top if you need. This is cruelty-free, it's alcohol-free, it's free of fragrance, it's free of essential oils. If you like full coverage, it's a great foundation. So that's it for this roundup. I really hope you've enjoyed it. They are my top 10 picks for if you're wanting something transfer resistant, you're wanting something that is good in all weathers, you're wanting something that is long lasting. They are the ones that I would recommend to you. Obviously, I haven't tried all of the foundations in the world, so like I said at the beginning of this video, if you do have any recommendations for any of the Wolf Pack, do write them down in the comments section below and share your knowledge with the rest of the pack. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to click subscribe and that like button, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.